I just got back from watching the Ghostbusters reboot, and I'm going to tell you what I thought of it. But before I tell you, a warning, there's no structure to this, I'm just going to be blurbing out my thoughts, so spoilers might come out of nowhere. Don't watch this if you don't want the film to be spoiled. Right, that out of the way, let's get going. First off, there were a lot of feelings I was expecting. I was expecting to cringe, maybe laugh at a couple things, maybe get a bit bored. What I didn't expect was to feel quite so advertised to. Yeah, I should have expected it, but I gotta tell you, I don't watch many movies. The last time I went to a cinema was 2008 when The Dark Knight came out. And when I watched the original Ghostbusters, I was a little kid. I don't remember jack about it. So maybe it's not exceptionally crammed and it's just standing out to me, but damn. There was a lot of stuff densely packed in the first quarter, third maybe of the film that really pulled me out of it. Seeing Amazon's website and hearing that you could get a physical copy or digital download of a book. Holtzman, the quirky blonde, eating Pringles and being asked about them and saying something salty parabolas, I don't remember exactly what. The dumb secretary, played by Chris Hemsworth, showing them a bunch of logos he's come up with for them, and one of them just being the 7-Eleven logo, and more. I ended up spending the movie on lookout for brands. Not the best way to watch something. But maybe that's down to me, maybe you wouldn't have the same experience. So that's what I wasn't expecting. What about what I was expecting? Because there's far more of that. A bunch of people were saying the character played by Leslie Jones is a stereotypical loud black woman. Yeah, I guess that's fair to suggest. And her race is relevant to some of the comedy. There was a scene that was actually in one of the trailers where she goes to stage dive, no one catches her and she asks, so was it a race thing or was it a lady thing? And less directly, there's another scene where she does the whole Oprah Winfrey, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car thing. Where I disagree with some of the people suggesting that though is I wouldn't have that as a bad point all on its own. Because then what? Are you saying you can't have a loud black woman character? Because if you cut the loud bits out of this black female character, things would just get even more dull. We'd be left with lines like, if you're accusing me of being beautiful, then I'm guilty as charged. Maybe you think I'm being too picky, that it's no big deal if there are a few generic lines in there. But when your movie is set up like a series of gags and jokes, it becomes painful to see people shoot and miss over and over and over again. To watch them wear out to the formula of having things get serious and then having someone say something silly or act in an awkward way. And I get it, when they're walking through the city that's being torn apart by ghosts, when they see the wreckage of a kitchen and one of them says, "This looks like my kitchen," it's more about them interacting than having a joke for the audience. It's the kind of thing you'd say to a buddy, but all those little lines did for me was emphasize the appearance of them having the chemistry of a bunch of kids stuck together at a summer camp. Now, another thing I expected, based on what's been said, was man-bashing the movie. And I have to say, I really didn't get that from it. Sure, I think you can say that all the male characters are either dopey or malevolent, but every character in this film is ridiculous. And yeah, the last big bad gets zapped in the crotch, but to suggest that's symbolic is giving the film's creators way too much credit. The humor in Ghostbusters is not very sophisticated, and a decent chunk of it is focused around that section of the body. From queefs and pant pooping in fear, to accusations of pissing in a subway, I think the final boss crotch shot is just a continuation of that standard. And it's not like, you fucking white male ghost, we're gonna bust your balls. What happens is, you've got this giant ghost grabbing onto some buildings to stop it from being sucked into a vortex, and in order to get him to let go, they shoot him in the nuts. Afterwards, one of the characters says something like, that's what you meant for me to shoot him, right? The whole movie was still very lame, but it wasn't the kind of lame I was expecting. It's the kind of lame where you can tell it's been formulated to appeal to the lowest common denominator and dumb kids. Which is why some people will think it is just the best. Once it comes out on DVD, if you are a parent who wants your kids to shut up for like an hour and a half, blam, you're good. To someone with no experience of anything, it might seem fresh. But to anyone else, don't waste your time. Which you might think seems obvious, but I went in there wanting something to be so bad it's good. Something awful that I can make fun of. And if it had given me that, I'd say, yeah, maybe go see it with a friend, rip the piss out of it. Have a good time with that. Yeah, maybe that means they'll end up making another one, because so many people go to see it for that. But cool, they make another thing you can rip the piss out of. If you're having a good time, fuck it. But you don't even get that. I think they've tried to do some sort of girl power thing, but it's so patchy that doesn't come through properly. There are 2-3 jokes that include gender, but they're self-contained. There's more lol so random stuff from the mentally retarded secretary. I'm saying this because a lot of people were worried they'd put message over it becoming a good film. Don't worry, they've done fucking neither. They have made something utterly forgettable. The controversy surrounding the film is more entertaining than the film. And now that it's out, I expect that to fade away. And eventually I expect Ghostbusters 2016 to be forgotten too, because overall it is just the most tepid, generic comedy sprinkled over a mess. I was watching it and it would cut from one scene to another and I'd be left thinking, wait, are they playing us the wrong version or something? That seemed like a mistake. I should at no point while watching a movie with a budget of over $100 million be getting a made-for-TV vibe. But as I watched the shitty CG of the first ghost they encountered flying away, I couldn't help but imagine seeing the Sci-Fi Channel watermark in the corner of the screen. But, as usual, that's just another one of my harmful opinions. Take a look at this. This is the latest Blacklist collection design by Gregory Allen Elliott. If you think it looks cool, you can get it on a shirt. Links in the description. Available to order for a limited time only.